Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Robinson here once again from Wear Many Hats. Thank you for joining us on another one of our fantastic podcast episodes. As ever, can you please do me a massive favour? Please like, share and follow the podcast on LinkedIn or Spotify or YouTube or whatever chosen streaming site you take our content in from. Your support helps us grow and helps us get the message out with regards to the industry. Another good show for you today, a great show. I'm pleased to be joined by Frederico Baptista, who is the Global Workplace Director for Wise. Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Great to be here, and thank you for having me.
You having a good day?
I'm having a great day. I just came back from holiday, so I can't complain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so we've all been grafting, and you've been up having a good time.
Very true, very true.
Yeah, where'd you go?
I went to Mallorca.
Oh, Mallorca.
Yeah,
Lovely.
a bit of summer in 2024. It's good to have because London doesn't have anything.
I know, we've had nice weather the last week.
I know, just 2 days.
Yeah,
Doesn't count.
That's a lot for us. anything past 23 hours, and we're in our shorts and we're off. Barbecues are out, shirts are off. You must see it. It's everywhere, Which
And part of it as well.
Yeah, you're part of it. You're part of it. Okay, brilliant. So whereabouts in Mallorca did you go?
I went to a little place called Colonia San Jordi. It's a nice little town. It's super peaceful and quiet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really, really nice. I recommend it.
You do? Yeah. So you're back at work today, or?
No, I started at the beginning of the week.
Ah, so you're back yesterday?
Yeah. 1 week is not enough. I didn't even disconnect, thinking about work all the time, thinking about this podcast too.
Well, I think, what was it, the nerves, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I caused a good impression.
We're very friendly here. Ethan doesn't bite, we stop him, so it's all good.
Don't pause.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, Frederico. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. I always start with a really simple question. All right. Tell us a little bit about your career and how you ended up working within facilities management in a workplace role. Tell us. Talk to us about your journey.
So I come from a little island in the Atlantic called Madeira.
Oh, love it.
Land
Madeira.
of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I know you're a fan.
I am a fan. I
am a fan too. So I think we support the same colours.
Well, you have to be over there, don't you? He's gone over there. He's got an airport named after him and everything, hasn't he?
Yeah, it was Ronaldo, then it was Mourinho. So you have to support.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I went to Lisbon, capital of Portugal, and I did study my studies in civil engineering.
Right.
And my master's there was basically around how to optimize not only construction, but also the management of buildings.
Right, okay.
So that's where I was first introduced to facilities management as a role. And it was really underdeveloped, and there wasn't a lot of information when I started.
Right.
But that kind of initiated the spark.
Yeah.
In the beginning of my career, I had a lot of international projects, mostly industrial. I went to work in Romania, Portugal as well. But ultimately, I had the opportunity to join Marriott as a big hospitality company. That was my first
Marriott hotels and nice.
My first facilities management role as the assistant director of engineering in Lisbon. I had a really good mentor. His name was Antonio Rolha.
Yeah.
And he taught me everything I had to know.
Yeah.
And that helped me transition from that project-specific, construction-specific background into managing everyday operations of a building.
Okay, so basically, were you kind of on the tools in that role, or was it more management and administration of people on tools?
It was management of teams.
Management of teams, yeah.
Hotels have this very high standard.
Yes.
Facilities management should look like. Everything is instantaneous. This is a quote from Antonio. You only have 2 days to make a guest feel special.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do facilities management traditionally, you kind of have your same tenants or your same customers for a month or a year.
Yeah,
right?
you've got time to impress them. Yeah.
So in hospitality, you have to do everything right. The space is designed to be perfect for that guest experience. And then when they do come in through the door, they expect service instantly. Yeah. So a lot of the work that I've done and that I've learned to do was to really optimize that customer experience, be very customer centric, and embed that in the teams that I've led.
Yeah, because of course, a lot of the commercial premises, especially over the last 5 or 10 years, have been moving towards more of that hotel experience within the workplace anyway, haven't they? So that must have given you quite a bit of an edge, because you operated in that space for so long.
Yeah, I was. I would say I was lucky with the timing that I joined the hospitality industry, because we did see a shift, I guess.
Yeah.
After that, shortly after that, I was able to work abroad. I was working in Italy, Venice. I did the whole rollout of the FM standards across Italy for Marriott when they acquired
Wow.
Starwood at the
Right.
time.
Okay.
That was another really great learning opportunity for me to see how many different hotels operate around the country, and how easy or difficult, depending on the leader that was in that particular property, to adopt new things and new processes.
Right. Okay.
But from there, what really gave me an edge, like you said, was the WeWork, I would say, adventure and the WeWork factor. It was this company that was doing commercial real estate. With a really big focus on hospitality.
Yes.
So for me, it was a really good fit.
But that was their USP, wasn't it? That was what made them different, and why they grew at the pace that they grew at, really, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Putting financials aside.
Yeah. We can forget about that. Sorry, now someone's working on it in the background. I know, you know what I mean? Everyone's seen the documentary.
Absolutely. It was really impressive to see how mission and the vision work was really all about the people who provided that space as a service philosophy. It was the community people that created dynamic environments that were really, really welcoming to all sorts of work styles and different industries as well. And it was all of the staff that supported those buildings that really created that environment that was, not what we call a co-working or WeWork co-working. That was the secret sauce that really drove the product to where it was and where it is now.
Right. So did WeWork come after you individually because of your experience within that hospitality space, or did you apply for a role based on the fact that they were trying to find that unicorn out there somewhere that could help them?
Yeah, I was always really inspired by innovation and not only in facilities management but also in real estate, and WeWork captured my interest when there were this very what looked like from the outside very fun company to work for. They had a vision. They had this new product. They were disruptors in the sector. So I did apply. I did reach out, and it was kind of a dating period of around a year.
Really?
Where I was talking to some of their leaders, and at the end, I was hired by Peter Kennedy, which was the head of operations for WeWork, and I joined them in Paris to run all the operations for that Southern Europe patch that they were growing. It was really, really interesting time to join a company.
It was because they were opening up WeWorks like Weatherspoons opened up in the 90s, weren't they?
Absolutely.
It was that kind of thing, wasn't it? It was just an absolute explosion.
100%. Like I joined WeWork in my first 6 months, just in Paris. I opened 7 offices in 2 months.
Wow.
And these were offices with 300 desks plus. It was insane. It was so.
Surprised you still got dark hair, mate. that's the stuff that sends you grey, isn't it?
That's where I found like my biggest learning experience from a company that's in hypergrowth is that there is power to scale. But what makes scale work is not only the processes that you put in place, it's really the people. You have passionate people that believe that they can deliver massive offices in a short span of time, and they're committed to that vision. They will deliver, and they will do a great job at it. That was really interesting for me.
So did you recruit a team and things like that when you went into WeWork? And so how many people were working alongside you to deal with that hypergrowth, as you call it?
I think at the peak, it was a very nimble team. We were probably 12.
Right. That's still not a lot of people.
It's not a lot of people.
That volume of places, to be fair.
We were mostly focused on operations. So hard services, soft services, everything that meant F&B as well. Everything that gave that customer experience the different USP that we wanted to give. We also partnered with a lot of community people. And this, although not part of my direct team, it was a very close collaboration. That's where it really scaled our impact. We were able to put in the right standards and what we wanted to deliver as a service, and then that community just scaled it up to be able to like push and be the front end, or, the customer facing part of the operation. And all credit to them, they really make it shine. You can have a really good cleaning company or maintenance company, but your customer-facing people, those are the people who sell your service at the end of the day.
So, yeah, of course they do. So it is in turn, because obviously you've worked in various countries, predominantly across Europe and things like that. Is FM aligned across Europe? Is it very similar, or is it different in different countries? Does that make it more complex? Because obviously you were, you looked after EMEA and Pacific for a period of time. That I'm kind of wondering, right, if there's different roles in different areas, how did that impact your role and things like that?
That's a very good question, actually. Very, very interesting. If I knew the answer, I wouldn't be here. I would be a very high-paid consultant.
Yeah.
But the experience that I had, that you have some cultural nuances, some customer experience expectations in different countries, and that means that delivering the same service in different countries will mean that you have a very satisfied customer on one side and a very dissatisfied customer on the other side. And the service is the same, the people can be the same. It's the expectation is completely different. An example is there's a bias. If you ever work in Japan, you can expect never to get, on a scale of 1 to 10, higher than a 7.
Really?
A 10 would be an absolutely amazing customer experience that they have never witnessed.
Really?
If you do the same in Spain, you'll get a 9.
Really?
Because the expectation is slightly lower. But the ability for to wow a customer, it's there all the time. There's an opportunity always to consistently deliver high standards and a really good customer experience. So I would say there's a bias on satisfaction across the world. And it's all about also you managing your expectations that, I'm never going to get a super satisfied customer in this part of the world. But I'm happy with that. And that's what I
quite interesting, that though. So what would the Japanese 7 be in the UK then?
It would be a 9.
A 9? So the UK is very similar to Spain and France and things like that?
Yes. I think Europe has a consistent expectation to what service is and what good customer service is, for sure.
Yeah, that's really interesting to me.
It's when you get out of the continent that you start to see very, very different expectations, very different customer profiles as well.
Right, okay. That's quite interesting. So that's obviously all played into, sort of the role that you've taken on now with, global head of real estate operations for Wise.
Absolutely.
So you've taken on a full international role now. So obviously you're probably experiencing different things as well in different countries and so on.
Yeah, Wise is still it is a global company. It has more than 40 offices across all continents. And it does face the same challenge with a difference. The opportunity to convert the satisfied customer to a satisfied customer is talking to your colleagues. They're all internal, right? So the biggest difference that I've seen so far is that although WeWork was a commercial enterprise, meaning you need to keep your customers happy because they bring in revenue.
Yeah, of course.
When you go into a corporate real estate role that it's more internal facing, your customers are your colleagues and your peers. So your main priority is to keep that employee satisfaction and employee experience to the highest level that you can do. You can get to. And because you have that customer centricity, you have that ultra focus on having your colleagues productive and happy, you can think a bit more medium to long term. So what I've seen is that Wise will make long-term investments, not only in space, but also in quality and employee experience to ensure that you can get to that level, even if it takes you more than a year.
Okay. That's really interesting. I don't think we've had anybody talk about quite the intricacies of the client experience in the same way. So thank you very much for explaining that. Really appreciate it. We'll talk about that in a bit more detail in the pub afterwards, which will be good. So look, obviously you touched on the fact that that there was a small part of facilities management within your education. There was obviously a larger part of other things. So what inspired you to pursue facilities management as a career, really? What did you like about it?
I think from my for my studies and my early career, I really realized that real estate is not only bricks and mortar. It's not only about the space. It's really about creating environments that set the right mood for people to collaborate and work together. Not only work, but also experience leisure. So the hospitality taught me that a really carefully crafted space goes a long way. And the WeWork experience taught me a very similar lesson, but that hospitality and the people in the community do make up for what's needed.
So that kind of underpins everything for you then, really, in terms of your career. So what advice would you give to somebody that was looking to move into, a similar sort of role as yours, really, where the customer centricity is incredibly important? What advice would you give them moving into that sector?
I think going into facilities management, you have to start off from a place of curiosity. You need to be curious. You need to be extremely passionate about physical space and
toilets,
toilet paper, air conditioning,
soap.
Exactly,
all of the really good stuff.
And that sort of curiosity also comes with a willingness to learn and adapt.
Right.
I feel it's a sector that changes constantly. Every year there's a new thing, there's a new piece of technology, a new sort of guidance and standard that everyone adheres to. My advice would be to start there. But to get your basics right as well.
Yes.
Get your technical knowledge in. If you want to go into hard FM, you need to know your mechanics, you need to know your equipment, you need to know your standards. If you want to go into soft services, you need to know your people. It's all about people there.
Yeah, of course, Right, really interesting. So moving on to sort of technology, because obviously technology is an important element of our lifestyles at the minute in terms of how we do business, how we do anything effectively. How do you think artificial intelligence may impact the FM world? And what's your experience of it been so far in terms of the roles that you've had?
That's a really great question. It's hard to answer. I think no one really knows what the impact of long term of what AI is going to have in facilities management world. But I would say, from what I've seen and what we've been implementing at Wise, is that it will enable for what we like to call mass customization.
Right.
So you'll have buildings that are ultra smart, and they will work almost like a concierge. They will know your preferences for lighting, your preferences for temperature. They can even recommend places to work within the building that would be more adjusted to the task or the activity that you want to do. These sort of concierge, because of these large language models, can now seem very, very human. So it's almost like an extension of what you would call your receptionist or your community team. We can create, and we're doing that now. Otherwise, that's one of the key focuses. We're creating these very smart AI bots that just work as knowledge centers for all of our employees. If you have a question about the building, if you have a question about the services, even a question about human resources, you just ask the bot. He will find the right information, feed it back to you, and if it doesn't answer, just give you your.
Hang on while I transfer you to it.
So we see a lot of potential, and I think a lot of companies look at AI these days as a cost cutting exercise.
I think that's probably where people went wrong.
I agree. I agree.
I think you've got to invest in something to make it good, don't you?
100%. So they do see it as more of a, if I bring an AI bot, I can cut 300 people from my customer center. But what we see at Wise is definitely kind of going in the opposite way. We don't need to cut costs. We can just exponentially increase our customer experience if we just bring AI into our toolkit. I think we're going to achieve that very, very soon.
Really? Yeah. Right. Any other exciting plans? Or can you not divulge them?
We're getting there.
Is that another one for the pub later? I'll get it out of him, don't worry. Okay, so what do you think the future landscape of FM looks like? Where do you see it heading? Do you see any massive changes? Do you see, obviously we've touched on technology, but is there anything else that you think might impact it, either positively or negatively?
I think positively, definitely the shift from traditional workspaces that are all similar in size, they all kind of fit one work style and one type of team activity, to more dynamic spaces. And the FM role will be a much more active and partnership role within organizations to get to that dynamic environment. I think ultimately because of the hospitality aspect of it, because of how hard surfaces influence how dynamically a space can be used. I see the FM role really becoming a business partnership role that helps businesses like Wise in the fintech sector or other businesses that are either growing or contracting to figure out how they're going to utilize their space better and how they're ultimately going to create an employee experience that can't be rivaled.
Do you think that COVID has had a significant impact in those changes?
I think so. There was definitely a wave of change that
it was moving that way.
It was moving that way.
To be massively accelerated.
It's just accelerated.
Yeah, like all the BMs are now moving out of the basement. I like to call it. You know, all of the FMs and the BMs, they're out the basement. You know what I mean? They're building offices above ground level. You know, so it just seems to have expedited though. You know,
100%.
I don't think it's a bad thing. What do you think?
I think COVID gave carte blanche to every head of FM to just experiment, because at that point, every chief people officer or every CEO was going to their community teams or FM teams and saying, how do we bring people back? You need to tell me, how do we bring people back? And because no one really knew the answer, they could just experiment. Oh, let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try this model. Let's bring this innovation into the space. And by doing that, it just really helped that transformation to gain steam and then cement itself to where it is now.
So do you see, did you see there being a lot more sort of, because obviously home working is here to stay. You know, we call them twats, don't we? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. You know, it is people, you know, the way people work has changed. How do you see the office commercial space evolving to meet those needs? What do you think? Because we've got a lot of big properties, you know, in London, Paris, New York, everywhere. You know, how will those spaces change? What do you see happening in the future? If you lean on your experience, I'll tell you what. In fact, even better, what would you do?
What would I do?
What would you do? What would be your attitude towards it? How would you deliver it?
There's definitely the need to downsize or to right size.
That term, right size, rather than that. Yeah, that's a positive term rather than a negative. Right size people, remember that.
You absolutely need to right size your portfolio. You can't have a one desk, one employee policy, because that's simply not the reality. If you see people coming in just 3 days a week, you have to right size that portfolio in that space to meet that demand. Now, at the same time, it creates a challenge, right? When everyone comes in, you have an overcrowding issue. So one of the big challenges, and what I think will be the winning recipe, is not to try to compete with the home office. You're never going to compete with the convenience of having your fridge right there, and you know, being able to drop off your kids in 10 minutes because school is right there. But when people come into the office, so you're not going to compete with that. But when people come into the office, that experience needs to be the best that they have all week. So creating the right rituals in the office, so when people come in, they have something to look forward to. Making sure that every space is kind of customized to the right team when they come in. Ensuring that you have the right piece of technology, so meetings, either remote or in person, are seamless. It's kind of the winning formula, in my opinion, to get us from, you know, this competition of remote work and hybrid work and work from the office to just a seamless transition where working from home or working from the office, you have this consistent great experience and your productive is still the same.
I agree. I mean, I think personal choice comes into it a little bit, and I think if you know, like, because we're all adults, aren't we? Well, most of us, anyway. You know, most of us are adults, but personal choice, I think, does come in. I've been thinking about it as well. You know, how do we utilize that space? And I talk crap sometimes, so bear with me. I am gonna bust out this idea to you. I was thinking about this, you know, like because obviously there's a lot of large buildings in London specifically, you know, but a lot of organisations that have a London HQ have people that operate all around the country, and they have to travel to London, get a hotel and all that stuff. Why couldn't they utilise some of their large space, build in some bedrooms? There's things like that, and then the people that have to travel from time to time would have a place to stay without having to stay in a hotel, and then they're up very nice and early to go to work. Would that work? Is that doable?
That is not only doable, that's already being done.
No way, where?
There is, in Amsterdam.
Honestly?
Yeah, I can't remember the company's name, but they're coming up with this model, what they call the future of the office. And it's just a mixed-use building where you will have offices and apartments and commercial space as well, where in one building, your office becomes kind of that hub that you just described.
Yeah.
If you work in a different city and come in for 2 days, you not only work at the office, but you also stay in the apartment.
Yeah, like the digs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So what you're telling me, someone nicked me idea.
Yeah, I know.
I was thinking about that on the train on the way in today. I didn't even read it on the internet.
If I'm not mistaken, they're trying to find their first.
I'm heading in the right direction now.
First London.
You know, yeah.
You're still in time.
I'm still in time. I can do it. Okay, brilliant. So what would you say the most challenging part of your role is, Frederico? What do you find the most difficult? And how do you deal with that as well? You know, it's kind of a two-part question.
That's a great question. I like to think that when you talk about facilities management and real estate, these are the easy things.
Yeah.
The difficult things are people.
Yeah.
People are difficult.
Yeah.
And difficult in a way that they present an opportunity for you to really challenge some of their understanding of how an office should work or a space should work, and to really go beyond the limitations that what you would consider to be a good FM service or a good cleaning service.
Yeah.
So one of the most challenging parts of my job, I think, it's to bring a lot of these stakeholders that sometimes have very limited exposure to what FM is or what real estate is, into that journey of, right, this is where we are, this is where we want to be, but to do this, I'm going to need probably some more money, some more people,
budget,
some more,
what do you mean?
Some more technology. Exactly. So
I gave you 10 million last week. What's going on? What did you do with that? Well, I went down the races.
10 million more, please.
10 million, Paul. Come on, you can afford it.
I would say that's the most challenging part. It's really bringing that stakeholder through the journey.
It's a part of that because obviously everybody's different. Everybody's an individual. Everybody has their own wants and needs and things like that. Just is that part of it? You know, being able to cater for because I always think whenever I think about workplace and I speak to people like that, I just think, God, that must be a really hard job. Like keeping everybody happy. If you've got 300 people in a space, that must be really difficult.
There's 300 opinions.
Yeah. Such a challenging thing to do. And I think if you get it half right, you've done really well. I really do.
100%, yeah.
If 150 are happy and really like, then, you know, I think that's not bad, though.
I think all of us here in this room know FM. You don't get a lot of taps in the back when you do a good job.
No,
right?
no.
You always get like really big shout outs when something goes
wrong.
Yeah.
That's human nature, though.
That's human nature, but
you know what I mean?
it is a bit hard to manage at some point, right? Because
Yeah.
you can do everything right for a year, and then you get to that week, and it's a terrible week, and there's a flooding, and there's a fire, and that's all everyone talks about for the rest of the year. So yeah, getting half of the people happy is definitely a win.
Yeah,
for sure. But I want to get to 80%. I want to get 80%. I want to get everyone happy.
Everyone, 100%.
I think that's where mass customization really comes into play.
Yeah.
If you can get the right rituals that fit the needs of all these different groups, all these different work styles, and you all bring them all together under one roof, you can cater to like a very diverse audience. You just need to have enough space and enough money to make it work and run smoothly.
Right. Okay. Really interesting. So what's been the biggest, what would you say the biggest opportunities are in facilities management over the next, let's say, 5 years? Where do you see the biggest opportunities?
That's another great question. Let me have a think. I think FM, the way it has been very organic, right? You have people from many different backgrounds, professional and also academic. And I heard a lot on your podcast as well. Just fell into the role. Right? So it has been a very experiential type of role. You learn through experience, and experience is much more valued than like some form of academia that you can bring as luggage. With that in mind, I think partnering up with upskilling a lot of the people that work in FM with technology knowledge will be the main opportunity for the FM role to grow and to become what I think will be in the next 5 to 10 years, which is this business partner role to any company that has office spaces, not only office spaces, but commercial spaces to run. Being that knowledge center for what works, what doesn't work, from an experience perspective, how to run buildings efficiently, from a technology and equipment perspective, and also how to keep things clean, healthy, and safe.
Yeah, I think although a lot of people say they fell into it, you don't see a lot of people leave it, which I actually think is very telling for the industry. You know, whilst they might have fallen into it, they don't go back and do what they did previously. In most cases, not in all cases. So
it's an exciting role. If you think about it, you're solving problems every day.
Yeah,
every day there's a problem to solve.
Every day's different,
and you get that dopamine hit. Like, solved it.
Yeah,
next one, fixed it.
Yeah.
So it's addictive. As I say, it's addictive. It's hard to leave, and also it gives you an opportunity to travel the world. I think that's one of the big attractions of this role. You have companies that are global, have a global footprint, and they need people to travel and to find solutions everywhere around the world. So if you're willing, you can travel and you'll see the world through your work.
Which is always good.
Always great.
Business class.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Just got to climb the ladder a little bit. Climb the greasy part. You'll be all right. Okay, brilliant. How do you keep up to date with? Sorry, can't help myself. How do you keep up to date with changes in the industry, new innovations, new things coming through? How do you stay, in the know? I suppose.
That's a great question. I think industry groups are really doing a great job in promoting innovation within the FM industry. They're also doing a great job in training and upskilling a lot of the people that are in the industry. So I do keep up with all these. The IWFM is a good example here, but also networking events within the industry. I think are key to be up to date with what everyone's doing.
Great.
One that I really like is Cornet. They're kind of a group of global occupiers within the FM industry, and just the ability to share best practices amongst people that hold the same roles in different companies. It's invaluable. Because you go like, I want to try that. And it's like, no, I did it, and it just really didn't work because of this, and that. So you kind of like use it as a sounding board, and it's really helpful. Yeah,
we've not come across that before. Is that you they get together in person, or is it online?
I think they have 2 or 3 global events where everyone flies in, and it's 2 to 3 days of conferences.
Right.
A lot of the real estate companies that represent tenants are also there as well.
Right. Okay. I'd not heard it. I wouldn't do that, I suppose. Yes.
But a lot of suppliers as well. It's an interesting event. I recommend you checking it out.
Might do. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're coming to our last few questions now. So, any regrets in your career? Is there anything you would have done differently, or?
Yes, absolutely. Easy answer. Yes, I have regrets.
You don't have to tell us what they are. You don't have to tell us what they are. Just,
Yes, I have. I think one of the things that I would definitely prioritize self-improvement.
Right.
Self-improvement, investment in increasing your knowledge, and also getting more familiar with leadership styles and leadership, what it means to be a leader. I think in the FM industry, you are ultimately always put in a position as you grow to lead lots and lots of people.
Yeah, of course.
That comes with its own sets of challenges. And I would be lying if I said to you that I was a great leader every time, because I wasn't. It comes with experience, and you learn.
But the fact that you admit that is, that self-reflection is important. I think that I would say, in essence, that would make you a better leader anyway, because you do have that ability to look at yourself internally and go, I didn't quite handle that right. Next time I need to do that differently. Because some people don't have that. Some people are just bullying a china shop and think, Sodom, I was right.
And sometimes it works.
Sometimes it does,
you keep going and it works.
Sometimes you have to be a bulldozer. This is the reality, Sometimes you just got to drive
break some
through.
rules. Yeah.
Yeah, break some
Take it
rules.
down, build it,
Break it and then rebuild it. Yeah.
So I would say, 100% that leadership is a challenging role to have in any industry, and in FM, just because of the sheer scale of it.
Yeah.
It's even more challenging, and I would love to have done more investment in the beginning of my career to get to.
Still got time. Still got time. Yeah, you can get there. What about what's your greatest achievement? Do you have a greatest achievement that when you look back at your career so far, something that you're really proud of that you like?
It was really early on my career. I think one of my proudest achievements and decisions was really to look into, a master's of civil engineering, where I'd studied construction management and structural engineering for many years. I've implemented it for a couple of years, and making that decision to say, you know what, this is not what I want.
Yeah.
I want to go back, start over, get a starting level job in facilities management, and learn.
I want to fill my phone with pictures of toilets and showers.
Exactly. I want to be happy about
desks, and things like that. Spend half my life trying to find a picture of my family members to send them.
But it was a great decision, honestly.
Yeah.
I do not regret it at all, and I'm very happy doing what I do. And it really opened up my mind to all the possibilities that exists in the FM industry. You can do anything.
Yeah, you can. That's so true. So many various roles and things like that within the space. You can join at the lower rank, and then you can just set yourself an agenda for wherever you want to go.
You just need that iCloud subscription so you can store all those pictures of
you do.
toilet.
Yeah. Carry a hard drive around with you. Download them immediately. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Kind of brings us to the end, but quickly, what things outside of work do you like to get up to? What keeps you going? Things like that.
So obviously I like to suffer. I'm a Man United fan.
Oh, easy. Listen, mate, we're coming back. We're coming back, mate. We're coming back. Yeah. Don't listen to City supporters, mate. They're just jealous. We're back. We're here. Next season, top 4. Yeah.
Apart from that, I do enjoy a lot of sports. I play football, tennis. Now I've started to play paddle as well. It's coming into London. There's a lot of new pitches opening up.
Yeah.
One in Shoreditch has just opened up.
Yeah. I had a bash at that last week for the first time.
Did you?
Yeah, I quite liked it actually. It was all right. Yeah.
It's super fun to play.
It's like a cross between tennis and squash, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and you learn it really fast, and it's fast paced as well.
Yeah.
But when you watch the videos online, it's like, how are these guys playing it? Like, that's impossible. Don't get it.
I know. It's like watching Forrest Gump play ping pong, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's what's going on? It's crazy. How do their arms move that?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like the Matrix, isn't it? Which is absolutely horrendous, but it's good. It's good. Yeah, I'm going to try it. I'm going to get into it. I think I'm going to have a game of it, a prop one.
You should. You can do.
I might play this one here. He'll probably batter me now.
6 aside, six people. You just rotate.
Yeah.
And you do quick fire. It's super fun.
Yeah.
You get a proper sweat out of it too.
Okay, cool. Good stuff. All right, Frederico, well, that brings us to the end. How did you find it?
Oh, it was lovely.
Yeah.
Great meeting you again.
Yeah.
And best of luck for the podcast. I've listened to a couple of episodes, and it's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Keep up the great work that you guys are doing.
Oh, I really appreciate it.
I look forward to seeing you again and hearing from you again. I know I'll hear you again.
Yes.
Let's see if he gets invited once.
Yeah, he will. He will. Yeah, definitely. Well, eventually we'll get that third mic,
Yeah.
And then he's in, and there's no stopping him. We have had him on one episode.
Actually, third mic is what's missing here.
Yeah, I know.
Is this a limitation of the equipment?
Yeah.
No, it's not. I don't believe it.
It's fine. We'll sort it out one day. One day. We need it to grow a little bit more, and then we can get some sponsorship, and then we can afford it. At the minute, it's all gratis. Me and Ethan giving up our time. So the poor boy here has to do the editing too. So he's a busy man. All right, well, listen, Frederico, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. An incredibly interesting podcast. Guys, as usual, thank you for listening to another episode of the show. If you want to reach out to Frederico, he's an incredibly interesting guy, as you can probably already tell on the podcast. I'm sure he wouldn't mind you reaching out to him on LinkedIn. That's the end of another one. As ever, if you can't be good, be bad. Bye-bye.